After months of silence, of mourning behind closed doors and watching tributes pass her by, María Rodríguez is finally speaking up. But she isn't here to spark controversy. She isn't trying to ride the wave of tragedy. No, she's here to reclaim something that should have never been lost: the dignity, memory, and legacy of her husband, André Silva, the brother of Liverpool's beloved forward, Diogo Jota. This is not a fan story. It's not a football headline. It's a confession, raw, real, and long overdue. Because while the world cried for Diogo, another life was quietly erased. And Maria is done watching in silence. It was just another morning in Portugal when Maria's phone rang. Early, too early, the kind of hour where good news rarely comes. On the other end, a shaky voice told her something terrible had happened on the A52 highway near Zamora, Spain. Her husband André had been in a car with Diogo. There had been an accident. She didn't understand. Her heart froze. Minutes later, confirmation hit like a truck: both men were gone. Not rumors. Not speculation. Gone. Maria would later describe that moment as feeling the earth crack beneath her feet. The kind of grief that doesn't come in waves, it swallows you whole. According to Spanish authorities, Diogo was behind the wheel of a Lamborghini Huracan. The two brothers had chosen to drive from Portugal to Santander, avoiding air travel after Diogo reportedly underwent lung surgery. It was late. Quiet. The highway was nearly empty. And then, disaster. A tire burst. The car lost control, veered off the road, slammed into an embankment, and caught fire instantly. There were no survivors. In those first painful hours, Maria's phone lit up with messages. But something wasn't right. "I'm so sorry about Diogo. Such a huge loss for football. Praying for his family. Nothing for André. Not a word." As if her husband had never existed. She sat in disbelief, watching news outlets churn out story after story about Diogo's death. Hashtags. Interviews. Candlelight vigils. But André? Barely a sentence. A footnote in his own tragedy. And Maria couldn't stay silent anymore. On July 5th, a family ceremony was held in Gondomar, Portugal. The church was full, hundreds of mourners, cameras flashing, football royalty in attendance. Both brothers' coffins stood side by side. 2 lives, 2 losses, but only one drew the crowd's full attention. Flowers flooded in for Diogo. Even Liverpool FC sent a formal arrangement. Andy Robertson, his teammate, sent a personal bouquet for André. It was a touching gesture, but one of the very few. And in that moment, as Maria stood by André's coffin, watching the media lens shift again and again to Diogo's side, something broke inside her. Not her love. Not her grief. Her patience. Because in the house of mourning, there was favoritism. In death, there was hierarchy. André Silva wasn't just Diogo's younger brother. He was a footballer in his own right, playing for Penafiel in Portugal's Liga 2. A graduate in business management. A man with ambition, humility, and heart. He was 25. Maria stood by him every step of the way. From early morning training to post-match celebrations, she was his rock. She proudly recalls his best game, against Portimonense, where André was named player of the match. The kind of game that makes you believe the best is still ahead. But that future vanished in a single night. What haunted Maria most wasn't just the accident. It was what happened after. Liverpool retired Diogo's number 20 jersey in his honor. A powerful and emotional gesture that shook fans worldwide. But for André? No national recognition. No Federation tribute. Just a brief statement from Penafiel, respectful, but small. Quiet. Almost embarrassed. Maria calls it the second death. Not of the body, but of the memory. When someone's name fades. When their existence is quietly swallowed by silence. She says this isn't about fame. It's about fairness. And she's right. What makes Maria's story even more heartbreaking is what happened inside the family itself. She describes awkward silences at dinners, tense conversations, unspoken expectations. In private, even among those who should have shared her pain, André felt forgotten. Diogo's name echoed in every corner. And André's? Nowhere. She doesn't blame Diogo for his fame. But she does blame a system, a culture, a narrative, one that treats visibility as value, and obscurity as irrelevance. And in a family of two sons, one was publicly celebrated. The other quietly buried. For Maria, the breaking point wasn't just the silence from the world, it was the slow erasure of her husband's legacy. Each day that passed without his name mentioned. Each post, each interview, each tribute that acted as if only one life had been lost. She's not speaking to start drama. She's speaking to honor a man she loved. Because André Silva was more than a surname. He was a man of integrity. A player with passion. A partner who gave everything to the sport and the people he loved. And Maria refuses to let him be forgotten. In the end, this story isn't about comparing brothers. It's not about taking anything away from Diogo's memory or legacy. It's about adding back what was lost. André Silva mattered. He lived, he loved, and he left behind a legacy that deserves more than silence. María Rodríguez's voice, though quiet for months, now speaks louder than ever. It's not a cry for attention, it's a cry for justice. And maybe, just maybe, it's the beginning of remembering a name the world tried to forget. If stories like this move you, if you believe every voice deserves to be heard and every life deserves to be remembered, then we invite you to be part of something bigger. This channel isn't just about headlines or breaking news. It's about truth, legacy, and giving a platform to the unheard. When you subscribe, you're helping us bring justice to stories that would otherwise be buried. You're helping names like André Silva live on. So if this touched you in any way, if you felt something, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, and join a growing community that refuses to let silence win. We're here to tell the stories others won't, and you can be a part of it. Don't just watch, stand with us. Subscribe now and let's make sure no voice is ever forgotten again.